sort of keeps. Is this your stand? Is it? Guruve Gaura Chandra Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Kanaka Jaladagatro Nila Sunabda Netro Mnigumara Malati Balo Malati Kunda Malo Taura Taruna Besho Nila Pitambaresho Smarana Britana Kunje Radhika Krishna Chandra Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So first of all I offer pranams to our Gurudev Om Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj. All devotees, thank you for coming. So, what is yoga? Grace smiles. What is yoga? Huh?
Just the teacher who just left, she said the other day, it's just for tight bums and flat tums, isn't it? And I was like, oh!
Yes.
Help me, Lord.
No wonder she left.
Yes, quite.
So I saw that you've discussed 4 types of yoga on your board.
I showed her that the other day when she asked me what it was.
So, in Bhagavad-Gita, this is one of our main scriptures. Okay? It said, Sarva Upanishada Gavo Dugdha Gopala Nandana. If all the scriptures are like a cow, then who's the milkman? Krishna. Right? Krishna's occupation, God's occupation. What's he doing in the spiritual world, Lena?
Guiding?
No, he has much better things to do than guide our miserable lives. Because even if he did give some guidance, who would listen anyway, right? So he has his expansion for that. That is the super soul in the heart. He does the guiding. But no one listening. As they say, lights on, but no one's home. He has his own life. So there he's the eternal villager, the cowherd boy. He has many names, Gopal. So the spiritual world, there everything is spiritual. The trees, the rivers, the mountains, the people, everything there is made of pure consciousness. Comes sir, it's a guest. No, he left. I knew it was too good to be true. So, in the spiritual world, everything is made of pure consciousness. Eternality, knowledge, and bliss.
Is someone there?
Yeah, don't worry, they're with us.
Okay. It's all right, you can sit down, Purushottam. I'm sure he knows how to open a door. Yes. So, the spiritual world is made of pure consciousness. Here, everything is unconscious. The floors, the walls, the doors, the sky. But in the spiritual world, everything is made of pure consciousness. Everything there is eternal. Nothing is created. There is no time there. There is only eternal present tense. Here everything is, there's happiness, but it's mixed with suffering. There is no pure happiness. So this world is asat, achit, nirananda. This world is temporary, unconscious and full of suffering. But the spiritual world is diametrically opposed to that. So there, everything is eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. That is the soul's real home. Unfortunately, people have no knowledge of that spiritual world. Very busily, they're researching this world, right? If you go to the university, so many so-called branches of knowledge. There is the chemistry department, the physics department, the geology department, right? Different languages, microbiology, astronomy. But where is the department concerned with the self? That is missing. So the soul does not belong to this world. Lena, right? Oh, I got it. The soul does not belong to this material world of birth and death. The soul belongs to the spiritual world. There's only one lack of knowledge in this world, that is lack of knowledge of that spiritual world. If you look in the Bible and Quran and other scriptures, there is no description there of paradise. What is actually happening there? But other scriptures describe it very exhaustively, the spiritual world, because that is our goal. Unless we know the goal, Janaki, we cannot reach it. Thank you for coming. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, gracias.
Todo bien. So, yoga means ultimately to join, to connect. So Krishna resides there, the Supreme Lord. Where does he live? In that eternal Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, don't be afraid of the name. Goloka Vrindavan. There Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sakalpa Vriksha. Laksavatasa Surabhi Abhipalayantim Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship that original personality, the first person, that is Govinda, Krishna. Where he lives in the spiritual sky, the spiritual world. Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sakalpa Vriksha. In this world people have so many desires but not successful in fulfilling the desires. But in the spiritual world, whatever you want, immediately you get. But there people have no other desires except to serve Krishna. So Chintamani. There's thousands of cows. They also fulfill any desire. But nobody wants anything except Krishna's happiness. So they just take the milk. So this is Goloka Vrindavan. There is no Vaikuntha, there is no anxiety, no fear. Everything there is eternal. There is no changing of the body like this world. Everyone has a fixed eternal spiritual form. The soul's body. Right? In this world there's a difference between our soul and our body. But there's no difference. Only one body, the soul body. And God also possesses a spiritual body. A spiritual form. And eternally they engage in loving service to Him. If you love someone, you give. So that loving mood of loving service is unlimited. It's always increasing every moment. But we have given up that world and come to this world of birth and death, this world of exploitation. Here there's so much envy, fear. Why? Because everyone's in competition with others to enjoy the property of this world. Right, Grace? You've got your shop struggling here. Other yoga studios trying to pinch your students. Here everyone is very busy, absorbed in exploitation. Exploiting the environment. Why? Because people have so much lust. So Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita explains. Arjuna asked the question why the soul comes to this world. And Krishna said, is it because of lust, which burns like fire and is never satisfied. Right? Like the more oil you put, the more fuel you put onto a fire, the brighter it burns. So what is this modern society? Just adding fuel to the fire constantly. Through the media, through everything. No matter how much people enjoy, they always want more and more and more. Therefore no one is peaceful. The constant endeavor to satisfy the senses, which by their nature are never satisfiable. Right? So Krishna, out of compassion, he comes to this world with an almost impossible task. To convince us that we are not the enjoyers, we are not the exploiters, but rather we are servants. Our happiness lies in the realm of service. In this world, if you tell someone to be a servant, they object. Because in this world, to become a servant means to be exploited, to be used. But to be used by Krishna, that is bliss. That is ecstasy. Why? He has no material form, therefore he has no material desires. So very easy to satisfy him. So Krishna comes here with this job, this message. My dear sons, my dear daughters, this is not your real nature to be exploiters, to be masters. False masters in the world of birth and death. So he comes, your real interest lies with me. your connection with me. But we have given that up and adopted a false nature. So, when someone acts against their intrinsic nature, how can they be happy? The soul is spiritual. So how can the soul have any real connection with the exploitation of matter? Impossible. Right, Lena? Who are you? Are you the body? Are you the mind? Who are you? Soul. Because of the presence of the soul, we pinch the body, we have consciousness. But as soon as the soul leaves the body is unconscious. So consciousness, in Sanskrit we call Atma, in English, soul. In Spanish, el alma. Right? So that consciousness, that person, the Atma, life, has no connection with this world, no connection with matter. So Krishna comes to this world with his message. Give up the world of exploitation and come to the world of devotion. So, thankless task. Therefore, Krishna comes in many, many incarnations. Many, many scriptures he has given. But who is listening? In fact, Krishna spoke this 750 verse Bhagavad-Gita. What's the last verse he spoke? Arjuna, have you understood everything? He speaks at the very end of the 18th chapter. Have you understood? Means Krishna is so kind. If Arjuna had not have understood, Krishna was ready to speak it a second time. That's how much he is generous, how much he is patient. Now you have heard everything, Arjuna. Do as you like. So soul has some free will. So that free will we have misused to exploit this world. We have turned away from our true nature. We have turned away from Krishna. Therefore we are suffering. Okay? So, Krishna comes with a simple message. Sarva dharma parityajya. Give up this and come to me. Okay? So to do this, 5,200 years ago, Krishna spoke this message of Bhagavad-Gita. Have you read it, Grace? Well, you're going to get a complimentary copy of the Bhagavad-Gita this afternoon. Try to read. This is the original doc. One name of Krishna is Yogeshwara, because today's topic is Bhakti Yoga. One name of Krishna is Yogeshwara. He is the Lord of the yoga system. Right? So, yoga means to connect, to join. No, yukt-gana, to join with something. Like we have in English, yoke, right? To join with something, to join something to another thing, you need a yoke. So yoga is the science of joining, connecting. But not everyone wants to connect with the same thing. Therefore there's different yoga systems. So, in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna talks about 4 types of yoga. But we should not think these as 4 separate things. Krishna explains these are like a staircase. Right? Like a staircase. These 18 chapters of Bhagavad-Gita actually talk about 18 types of yoga. Actually, if you want to do the science. But 4 is main. So Krishna says it's a mistake to think anyone is separate from another. They're like stairs on a staircase. They have the same goal. Whether people understand that or not is another thing. No? Just like the child in primary school, no, he's in the same school as the child in the 12th class. It may seem like a different world, the first class to the 12th class, but one intention is there running through all education. So people in this world have different levels of lust, different amounts of covering. Krishna explains lust covers the true nature of the soul. And Krishna gives 3 examples in Bhagavad-Gita. People have different amounts of covering. Like Grace is vegetarian, doing yoga, all these things. Non-violent. You drink? No. Right. But daughter, sorry to bring your daughter into it, but
It's okay, she'll be thrilled.
maybe she we can. But people have different levels of covering. No? Krishna gives 3 examples. Like a mirror, like a smoke, like a fire covered by smoke, and like a child in the womb. 3 different examples. A fire covered by smoke, you can still cook on it. It just takes a long time. So fire is there, but not manifest. It has the potency to manifest. If you fan the fire, it will come to a fully blazing condition. So some souls in this world, they're covered like a fire covered by smoke. That is the human form of life. Very easily we can understand that humans have souls. Right? We communicate, we eat, sleep, mate, and defend. We have consciousness, we have higher thinking. We have discrimination. We know good and bad. Some understanding is there of the difference between eternal and temporary, pure and impure, happiness and distress. So human being, just the average Joe Blow, the average human being is like a fire covered by smoke. Soul is there, consciousness is there, we can understand. But in most people, undeveloped. But the potential to fully develop is there. Like, just needs some breeze. Some favorable breeze, some dry wood. Then that smoking consciousness can become fully blazing. So only human beings have the potentiality to achieve perfection. Therefore, the human form of life is meant only for spiritual life. In this lecture is no cats and dogs, fish, squid, or octopus, plants, vegetables, or seaweed. Right? In this class is only human being. Only human being has the qualification to enter spiritual life. Therefore, all species of life, the human form is considered the most valuable. Because the human form is like a door to liberation. Is that your sister, Janaki?
Yes.
What's her name?
Shakuntala.
Shakuntala. Kitna acha naam hai. So, Krishna gives 3 examples, like a fire covered by smoke. More covered than that is a mirror covered by dust. If you see a mirror on the wall covered by dust, you can understand it's a mirror, but it doesn't function. Right? No reflection power is there because covered. So, in some species of life, you can understand soul is there, but practically speaking, not functioning. Means the inherent potency of the soul for discrimination, love of God, spiritual practice is completely covered. Like cats and dogs, 4-legged animals, right? Birds. You can understand soul is there because they're moving. They also have eyes, tongue, nose, ears, stomach, heart, digestion, lungs. So it's not rocket science to understand if human has a soul. Animal also has a soul. Right, Jenna? If it has a face, don't eat it. Okay, that's the mantra for today. If it has a face, don't eat it. Because soul is there also. If you kill them just for your own tongue, your own pleasure, your own 2 minutes of enjoyment, you give them so much suffering, then how we can have any happiness in this life? So a mirror covered by dust, you can understand mirror is there, but it's not functioning. So in the animal species, we can understand soul is there, but practically speaking, not functioning. Discrimination is not there. No. Understanding of spiritual topics, that is not there. No. And even worse than that, lower than that, Krishna gives example of completely covered consciousness. Like the baby covered by the womb. No. Maybe one woman is pregnant, but maybe the first 4 or 5 months she doesn't even know. Baby is there. Right? And even when she's like that, fully pregnant, still you cannot understand, is it twins? Is it a boy or is it a girl? What is there? Maybe will it be a black child? Will it be an Aboriginal child, an English child, a boy or a girl, Chinese, Japanese? No idea. No? So some souls completely covered by material nature. Lust is so powerful. You practically many people cannot understand the soul is there at all. Like trees, right? Plants, potatoes. Soul is also there because life is there also in the tree. The tree also has 6 changes of the body: birth, growth, peak, producing offspring, declining, and death. The 6 changes of the body is also in the tree. No? But most people, you say soul is there, they cannot accept it all. No? But soul is there. But for practical reasons, that soul's nature appears completely covered. So in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna gives these 3 levels of consciousness. Sanskrit also has a name, Achadit Chetana, fully covered consciousness. Mukalita Chetana, slightly revealed consciousness. Then blossoming consciousness, human being, then fully blossoming in others. So tonight we'll just talk about the human being, right? The smoke covered by fire. So human beings also have many, many different levels of qualifications. The scriptures say there's actually 400,000 different species of human. Yes. Do the math. English, 1 species. Right? Even in the English species of human, there's man and woman. There's also now the test of political correctness comes in. High-born, aristocratic family, certain mentality, education. Low-born, these also considered different species. The Chinese, even in Africa, how many different tribes, different mentalities, different varieties. In India, how many languages in India? So these are all different species of human being. They have their uniqueness in terms of mentality, thought, behavior, eating habits, all these things. So, human beings have many, many different natures, many different qualifications, many levels of self-realization, right? Many different religious approaches, understanding of spiritual life. So human being is also many, many. So for that reason, Krishna speaks 4 levels of yoga, 4 different types of yoga. No? That means no matter, because there should be something for everyone. So Bhagavad-Gita, the scriptures are not giving thousands of different opinions. The scriptures are just giving different instructions for different levels of qualified persons. Right? So, for the human being, Krishna speaks this Bhagavad-Gita, the Bible of yoga. So many people no interest in spiritual life. So they are for practical considerations, they are not considered humans. They're human beings, they're animals but no horn and no tail. But most people, especially in the modern age, they are not even real human beings. No? They're, practical speaking, animal consciousness. Because the goal of their life is 4 things: eat, sex life, sleeping, and fighting with others. Competition. Right? Competition for women, competition for money, competition for fame. They're absorbed in these 4 like animals. So this Bhagavad-Gita is not for everyone. It is for everyone, but for practical reasons, it's for those who have come to an actual platform of human life. It means Ato Brahma Jigyasa. The scriptures, the Vedanta Sutra begins, Ato Brahma Jigyasa. Now you have the human form, you should inquire, Ato Brahma. Brahma means God, or the soul. Anyway, you should inquire into spiritual life. So who is inquiring for spiritual life, Jenna? Lena, right? Sorry. Something goes wrong and I can never remember. Lena. Human being means who is actually endeavoring for spiritual life. Because the human form is meant only for spiritual practice. Because only one difference between the human being and the 8 million other species, only human can have this conversation. So amongst the humans who is actually endeavoring, inquiring, questioning, Krishna speaks 4 levels of yoga. That is karma yoga, jnana yoga, what you call Astanga or Raj yoga, and finally Bhakti Yoga. So, language is a problem, so I'm just saying the lowest level, because it's not low. It's an exalted position. Bhagavad-Gita is spoken by Krishna, God, the Supreme Person, to Arjuna. Arjuna was in a dilemma. Arjuna was a king, a warrior. So we won't go to the whole history of Mahabharata, even though he wants to hear it. But Mahabharata is 400,000 verses, some incredible number of verses. The scriptures like this. And the middle is like a pearl. This is Bhagavad-Gita. So it's a story between two sets of cousin brothers, the Kurus and the Pandavas. Right? So Arjuna, pretty much speaking, he's practically speaking, he's the king of the Kurus, the Pandavas, sorry. Even though his older brother is king, he's the greatest warrior, the greatest fighter, the hero, and Krishna's friend. And on his other side were his 100 cousin brothers. We won't tell the history, but just some friction came, right? Every family has some friction. This friction just happened to set the stage for the original World War. Kings of the entire world chose one side or another side. How many soldiers were on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? I have heard numbers like 60 million. You can imagine the size of the war. Arjuna was the leader, the greatest warrior on the side of the Pandavas. Krishna was his chariot driver, like an Uber driver. If you tell someone to be an Uber driver, they'll think you insulted me. But Krishna have no false ego. He want to show I am equal to everyone. He not took part personally in the war, because God has no friends or enemies. No. But he is the friend of Arjuna. So Arjuna asked, "O Keshav," many names for Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita. Keshav means many meanings. Ka means Shiva, Ish means Brahma. Keshav, who is the lord of even Brahma and Shiva, he is called Keshav. But a more sweet name, Keshav, whose hair is very long. Kesh means hair. His hair is supremely attractive. So he's called Keshav. Krishna have long hair. Anyway, that's another topic. But the gopis saying Krishna's face so sweet, like you want to catch a bird, you need some bait. So Krishna's face so sweet, and the eyes of the devotees, the eyes of the gopis like birds. So the bird goes to taste the sweetness of Krishna's face, but caught in the net of his hair. Means our glance we cannot take away again from your face, because caught by the network of his hair, so attractive. Not like hair in this world. No. So, O Keshav, please take me in the middle of the battlefield. I want to see who has come to fight us. So Krishna took the chariot in the middle, just before the World War. Then Arjuna saw on the other side of the battlefield all his relatives, all his friends, all his cousin brothers. Even his guru was on the other side somehow. Don't ask how. Even his guru, his friends, relatives, uncles, maternal uncles, paternal uncles, all his relatives, all his friends, his citizens on the other side. Then Arjuna, by nature, he's soft-hearted. He began to think, why I kill them just for some position, to be king, to enjoy some gold, some land, some property, some position? The only reason I should be king is to serve these people. How can I enjoy a kingdom covered by the blood of those persons who are my worshipful superiors, my friends, my relatives? Better I maintain my life by begging than killing these people. So Arjuna became full of compassion. And no doubt he will kill them. There is no doubt. If I kill them, he thought, what will happen to the children? What will happen to their wives? Their wives will be captured by other lusty men. Then what will happen? Society will be broken. The children will have no guidance, no parents. And who will be the fault? Who will be the cause of the destruction of society? Me. So he began shaking. He began to weep. Was he weeping? Some tears there. I don't know what to do or what not to do. He became bewildered. No. So the whole first chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna never says anything. You know when someone's just talking, off button, there's one. Krishna listening. Because he's waiting when Arjuna will ask. So finally Arjuna could not understand actually what to do. But he knows my friend is God. He have perfect knowledge. So he surrendered. Krishna, you tell me what to do. I am your disciple. I surrender to you. I promise, as you tell me, I will act. So this is the beginning of Bhagavad-Gita. If you read this book, Jenna, you can take a book also. In the beginning, theoretically, we should understand Krishna as God. From the beginning, when you pick up the book, theoretically, right? Because if you theoretically understand, okay, Krishna is God. If you have that theoretical understanding, every single verse of Bhagavad-Gita will make sense. For example, Krishna says, give up everything, surrender to me. Right? Think of me at the time of death. Offer the results of all your actions to me. So if Krishna is just another guy, if Krishna is just another guy, another teacher, another person, then what's the use in thinking of him at the time of death? Better I think of my wife or my children. Understand? But if Krishna is God, then why not think of him at the time of death? Why not offer all your actions to him? So in the beginning, just theoretically grace. Theoretically, okay, I'll accept in theory. Krishna is God. Then Bhagavad-Gita can make some meaning will come. But that understanding is not there in the beginning, and then Bhagavad-Gita just, you read it and become bewildered. So Arjuna asked his questions with the understanding, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all Vedic scriptures, the source of all knowledge, the source of everything. He is infallible. He never makes mistakes. He is never controlled by his own creation. He is not attracted to his own creation. He is not bewildered by his own creation. Imagine. Like a spider builds a web, but the spider never becomes entrapped by his own creation. Krishna like that. He comes to this world, he's never part of it. Always separate. So, Arjuna has this understanding. So actually, Krishna put him into bewilderment so he could ask all these questions. These are our questions. Bhagavad-Gita is 16 questions. These are all our questions, Grace. What is this? What do you read? So, Krishna asked, what should I do? What should I not do? So Krishna spoke Bhagavad-Gita, 4 different levels. In anything, it's always a mistake to act beyond your qualification. It's always a mistake to act beneath your qualification. So we should know where I am now, and we should also know what's in the future. If you don't know what's ahead, then you cannot advance. For that reason, no matter what level you're on, you should hear the whole Bhagavad-Gita. You should know what's behind you, where I am now, and what's in front of you. So, in the beginning, Krishna speaks 5 levels of knowledge. First is common sense. What's the word? Common sense. Practical knowledge. What's knowledge which is for everyone? Common knowledge. Right, thank you. Common knowledge. Right. Krishna says, for example, don't eat too much, don't sleep too much. No? Whatever comes, be satisfied with this. This is common knowledge. Don't become 3 gates to hell: lust, greed, anger. Give up these 3. This is common for everyone. But then he speaks more specific knowledge. That is Atma Tattva, knowledge of the soul. What does he say, Arjuna? What does he say? You are speaking learned words. You are speaking learned words, but actually you're a foolish fellow. You are lamenting for that which should not be lamented for, because no one dies. How can I kill him? How can I kill him? Better they kill me. This is foolish talk. Why? The soul never dies. Soul is never born. The soul cannot be cut. Soul cannot be burnt. Soul cannot be dried. Soul cannot be wet. In other words, the soul is Aja Ama, eternal. It is not killed when the body is killed. So death is born along with his body. For one who has died, birth is certain. For one who is born, death is certain. So this is the Bhagavad-Gita begins from this. Many people think Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna to kill all his relatives. That is not like that at all. Krishna explaining the simple fact to Arjuna, the soul never kills anyone. Right? Does the soul eat? Yeah, Lena? Does the soul sleep? Does the soul see? Does the soul hear? Does the soul touch? Does the soul have children? Does the soul marry? Does the soul, is it born? Is it die? No. This all pertain only to the body. No. So Krishna says, the soul never kills anyone. And the soul is never killed. So your words are foolish words. No. So this is beginning of Bhagavad Gita begin completely from the spiritual platform. Okay, who's hearing that? Is the soul sitting in the chair? Are you a man or a woman? Is the soul Buddhist or Christian or atheist? Or this is only pertaining to the body. So Bhagavad-Gita begins immediately from that platform, which other religions cannot even imagine. This is the introduction to Bhagavad-Gita. So, that may be all very well, that we are the soul, but we now have no practical experience of it. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. These things dominate us day and night. So how a soul in a material body, how a soul in a material body like us, like all of us, can achieve perfection, because we have many, many desires, right? We have many, many desires, many, many obstacles. This body itself is an obstacle, in one sense. No? So how an ordinary person, bewildered by illusion, absorbed in thinking, I am the body, I have many responsibilities, many desires, how an ordinary person can achieve perfection in their daily activities? Bhagavad-Gita is the remedy, the medicine for material creation. So Krishna explained to Arjuna the first yoga, karma yoga. Karma means action. No one, and Krishna laughed, because Arjuna said, I will go to the forest, I will maintain my life by begging. Arjuna thought, I can become free from action by non-action. But that is a dream, like Buddhism. Don't want to stick the knife in, but will anyway. Buddhists believe one becomes free from the cycle of action and reaction by ceasing action. Therefore, what do they do all day? Sit in a cave, meditate. They think by that they become free from action, free from karma. But Krishna laughs. Arjuna wanted to do the same thing. I'll go and beg, maintain my life. But Krishna says two things. No one can escape from action even for a second. Sitting, action. Sleeping. What's he doing? He's sleeping. He's also doing something. What's he doing? Nothing. Nothing is also something. Breathing is an action. Seeing is an action. Hearing is an action. So no one can escape action. So Arjuna, your desire, I will go to the forest and live by begging, this is foolishness. Because no one can escape action for a second. Heart is beating, lungs are going, digestion is moving, right? No one can stop it. So this idea is foolishness. No? So rather than artificially renounce action, you should act in a proper way by which you become liberated. So then Krishna talks about the caste system, right? Probably the most misunderstood thing in the Hindu teachings. Caste system has nothing to do with birth. In Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, what is it? Chaturvanam maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasa. This caste system is actually made by God himself. It has nothing to do with birth. It has everything to do with one's nature and one's actions. But unfortunately now India has become degraded and people think you are born to a particular family, that is your caste. But actually the real spiritual science has nothing to do with that. And Krishna says himself, it's decided by one's nature and one's actions. So Krishna explains there's 4 types of persons in this world. The Brahmin, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and the Sudra. Okay? The Brahmin means those who are naturally inclined towards spiritual life, worship, charity, simple living, high thinking. Right? They find pleasure in scriptural study. They find so much happiness in spiritual discussion, spiritual practices. That's the only thing they're interested in. So those persons are called the Brahmanas. The next persons are those who their only happiness is fighting, war, military conquest, army life, police force, this type of persons. You know the kid in school, he's always watching the war movies. He's always fighting with sword. That is one nature. Some people, as soon as they leave school, what do? Can't wait to be in the army. Can't wait to be in the Air Force. Can't wait to join the Navy. So this is one nature. This is called the Kshatriya. And Arjuna's nature is this second nature. He loves that. He loves it. The third nature is the businessman. Money, 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 brighter than sunshine, sweeter than honey. An insatiable desire to accumulate wealth, do business. No? That is called the Kshatriya. And the last, the worst is Kevin, what's he? Who works for others. I mean, they have no great ambition in life. Just get a job, earn some money, and eat, sleep, and all this stuff. No? So these four natures are there. This is the real caste system. No, very scientific. Why the modern education system is a disaster? Because they don't take into consideration the different natures of the child. 30 kids all have to learn the same thing. Therefore, most of the children are forced to learn something they have no interest in. So the Vedic system of education, when the child's like 7, 8, 10, the parents, the guru, the teachers, experienced persons, they meet, they discuss the nature of the child. Oh, this child from birth is the Brahmin, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya. They can see his activities, his speech, his interests. Understand? They know. Very scientific, the Bhagavad-Gita. So when they understand the nature of the child, like, I hate cars, never interested in them. So why would you put me in a mechanics course? That'd be suicide, right? So they look at the nature of the child. This child has so much interest in this. This is his nature. Give him that type of education. Then he has so much interest in it. And then he gets a job doing something he loves. But today, get a high mark, become a lawyer, but the person's character is wretched. They have no interest in justice. They have an interest in, why the hell would you make that person a lawyer? Someone gets a high job, become a doctor. He has no interest in becoming. He only has interest in money. Why would you teach that person about health science? Madness, right? So the Vedic system is very qualified. So Arjuna says, Arjuna, your nature is to fight. That's your nature. You're a king, a warrior. So even you say, I go to the forest, but even the forest, you'll be thinking of the war. So Krishna, these are the first teaching of Karma Yoga. Arjuna, one cannot renounce one's own nature. Right? That is foolish. So better to do perform your own duties according to your nature imperfectly than perfectly do something which you are not suited to. So Krishna explains this science of Karma Yoga. Everyone can achieve perfection by following the science of Karma Yoga. How? Everyone will work. There is no one who can avoid. No. So one who works according to his nature, but the results of the work, one should not become attached to the results. One should offer the results to God, to Krishna. Right? No matter what you do. The Brahmin should not think, I'm doing worship, I'll collect so many donations. No, that's a mistake. You have the right to work, but don't be attached to the results. No. The soldier has the right to fight, but don't be attached to the result. Victory and defeat, don't worry for that. Just work. Just do your duty. Without attachment. The businessman, he was like the communist system. By force, they tried to make everyone the same level. Did it work? No. Because even in the communist system, there still came the intelligentsia, there still came the soldier class, the military class, there still came the businessman, there still came the worker. That's why the communist system failed. They failed to understand the scientific different natures of human beings. No? So, it's not that the intelligence, the Brahman or the Sudra, not that one is particularly high or low. Therefore, all have the chance to achieve perfection if they offer the results of their work to Krishna, to God. No. So this is Karma Yoga. So Krishna says, don't renounce your nature. Act according to your nature. Fight, but fight for me. Don't be attached to winning or losing. Just do your duty with a spirit of detachment. So Karma Yoga means to perform action and through your action link with the Supreme. This is called Karma Yoga. Okay? So in Bhagavad-Gita says why we should act without attachment. Because attachment causes bondage. The more you're attached, the more lust will burn in the heart. Then it never become extinguished. Then you'll never become free from attachment to this world. So one who acts in the spirit of detachment, by following this first yoga called the yoga of Karma Yoga, what will happen? Happy life. Right? He's doing something he loves. he's satisfied on a material level, and because he's acting in a spirit of complete detachment and devotion, then he'll achieve knowledge automatically. Right? So by doing karma yoga perfectly, he's become free from lust, free from attachment, then automatically knowledge will appear in his heart. You know? Like when the sun rises, right, Ananta? Darkness immediately destroyed. So by performing karma yoga, automatically knowledge of the difference between the soul and the body will awaken. Then one will become qualified for the second type of yoga, which is called Gyan. Gyan means knowledge. What knowledge? The knowledge of the difference between the soul and the body. Right? Who has that knowledge? No one. Everyone's very busy thinking, I'm Chinese, I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm wealthy, I'm good looking, I'm ugly, I'm poor, I'm depressed, I'm happy, I'm a woman, give me woman's rights, I'm a man's rights. Everyone very busily absorbed in this thing. But one has knowledge, he gives all that up very easily. You know? Just like a dirty dog takes bath, a dirty horse takes bath, he comes out clean and spotless. So Krishna says one drop of this knowledge can burn a mountain of ignorance to ashes. So by doing karma yoga, one becomes automatically detached, purified. In the purified heart, this knowledge automatically awakens. The difference between the soul and the body. So this is called Gyan Yoga. You know? And this is the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad-Gita mostly deal with this type of knowledge. So, but Gyan Yoga is not sufficient. It's not enough to understand that simply that you are different from the body and different from the mind. Because then the question of God comes. Who made the creation? Where did it come from? Did you make it, Grace? I didn't make it either. So what is the cause of the creation? What is the cause of the soul? What is the cause of ignorance? And ultimately, what is the cause of liberation? And after liberation, where does the soul go? So it's not enough just to get freedom from this world. One should also know, beyond this world, there's also a whole other world, the spiritual world. So, knowledge without understanding of God, this is not perfect knowledge. It's limited. No? Therefore, the third type of yoga is there. Okay? Ashtanga yoga. If I'm not the body, why am I so busy being absorbed in the body? How much we do for the body every day? And how much we do for the soul? If we made a list, we'd be ashamed. Busy eating, busy brushing my teeth, busy combing my hair, washing my cloth, working, paying the bills. That soul have nothing to do with that. So then comes, if I want real maturity of this knowledge, there has to be a process. So for that reason, Krishna speaks the third yoga, the yoga of Ashtanga yoga. So unfortunately, I don't know what you're doing, Grace, but unfortunately 99% of people who teach Ashtanga yoga, their teaching is completely illegal. No? Because there's no understanding at all of God there. No? If you're just interested in dry knowledge, then stick to the second yoga, but Ashtanga yoga is definitely a step above. So Ashtanga yoga is the science of connection with the controller of this world. All right? For example, this stick is made of atoms. What is causing the atoms to form in such a way to form a stick? What's holding it together? Who's holding it together? They say material nature. Whose nature? The laws of science. Who made the laws? Everything's sticking very strictly to the laws. Who is controlling everything? So, that is knowledge of the super soul. I can't see Grace. Sorry, that's right. If I can't see someone, I don't feel happy. So, for example, we have desires. But the soul is not independent to fulfill its desires. Right? No one wants to get old age. No one. No one wants disease. No one wants poverty. No one wants death. But it's coming. No one can check it. No one can stop time. Therefore, with more deeper understanding, you'll think the soul is not independent. The soul is a controlled entity. Did you choose this body, Lena? It was chosen for you. You are given it. You are forced to accept it. Who forced you? Who forced it? We are forced to accept all that. We are forced to accept all these things. So who is controlling? So for the second category of yoga, no need to think too much about that. But more mature discrimination, more deeper, then you have to accept there is a controller. And it's not me. It's not me. And it's not him. Who is it? So for that person comes the science of Ashtanga Yoga. There is a controller. We can't understand who he is because he's beyond the senses, right? Because he's not material. You can't see him by eyes, smell him by nose, taste him by tongue, hear him by ear, think of him by mind. Tadkena pravishtanat. Even the mind is also a material thing. No matter how much you think or speculate with the material mind, you cannot reach him. Because he's beyond matter and the mind is material. So for that person who is not satisfied with just the second level of yoga, for that person the third level of yoga is given. Unfortunately, the yoga teacher who said yoga is for what is it? Firm bums and flat tums. Edit that one later. Actually, most people doing yoga just to have improved sex life, actually. But that's not the goal of yoga. Actually, a person who's doing yoga with that, they're adopted a higher practice, but they're beneath even the first level of yoga. They're on the animal platform. No? So Ashtanga Yoga is actually a very high thing. That means it's a mechanical process how to control the mind and the senses and become fixed in meditation on the Supersoul, the controller. No? We can't know who he is, so the scriptures describe. He's called Paramatma. Right? We asked Lena, what's God doing? She said, what did she say? Guiding. No, he have way better things to do than guide us. What's he doing? He's enjoying. No? And everyone who's enjoying with him, they don't even know the material world exists. They don't care. They're absorbed in Krishna. And Krishna's absorbed in them, like Bill Gates. Do you think he's there writing all the software? Do you think? No way. Is Bill Gates there cleaning the toilets of Microsoft? Forget it. Probably Bill Gates hasn't been in the office for 20 years. He pays. That's why you have CEOs. You do it. Anyway, this is a mundane example. But what's God doing? Connected with this world? No way. He's enjoying. There was one Muslim king, Akbar. He was Muslim but very liberal person. So he asked the Hindus, all you Hindus make a presentation. What is Hinduism? What is the Vedas? So all the guys became busy making Shiva. There's a deity of Shiva, right? What's he doing? He's like in charge of the material facet. There's Durga. What's Durga doing? Oh, she's his energy. No, she's a material nature. He's in charge of it. Because she's the energy. Energy is not independent. Energy always acts according to what the energetic desires. So Shiv Shakti, right? So there's Shiv Shakti. He also have many devotees, like there's Ganesh, right? You can imagine the pantheon of the Hindu gods. There's the sun god, there's the moon god, there's Indra, the king of heaven, so many, right? That's why people become bewildered. Hinduism, oh my God. Like a zoo, even most Hindus bewildered, because it's like an ocean. So Akbar was very intelligent, actually. So he was looking at everyone, and they were explaining, oh, this is Ganesh, yeah, this is what he does. Okay. And then he came to Krishna. Then there was Vishnu creating the universes. Then he came to Krishna and he heard. Then Akbar said, this must be God. Why? What's he doing? With his girlfriend. Playing the flute, herding the cows. What's he doing? Nothing. Everyone have a responsibility except Krishna. Right? What's Krishna's job? Job, cow grazing, means nothing. Madhusudana Maharaj speaks like this thing. Krishna is the only person in the entire creation who have no responsibility. What's he doing? Garland of flowers, playing his flute, dancing, singing, stealing butter. 4 symptoms of the Lalit Madhav form of Krishna. What's he doing? always joking. Prayasivasibut, always controlled by his beloveds. No? Nischint, he have no headache, no tension, no responsibility. Because all the material responsibility he gives to others. Okay, you create, you maintain, you destroy, you give the results of activities, you control the sun. And what's he doing? Do Venu Kovantam Aravindam Dalaya Taksha. So Akbar said, this must be God. There was one famous philosopher, what's his name? Nish. He said, I only believe in a God who dances. Who's that? Krishna. Always, every night, Ras Leela, every night dancing, every night playing some instruments, every night singing, the gopis singing. Krishna said, I cannot sing nicely like you. That's what he's doing day and night, absorbed in that. So what's Krishna's responsibility? Nothing. He's just the enjoyer. Anyway, how do we get onto all this? Yeah. So Krishna's just enjoying. What's going on in the creation? He knows, because he's all-pervading. He knows, but he don't care, so he forgets. When necessary to know, he can know. But everything must be in God, therefore omniscience must be in him, but also must be forgetfulness. No? So Krishna, I am God, he also forget. Don't misunderstand. Right? He's made of knowledge. But for enjoyment, he forgets. Anytime he needs to know, he can know. But he chooses to forget and just enjoy. Right? So, like people go on holiday. Why they go on holiday? To forget work. Right? These are all material examples with faults and limitations, but some conception we can have. What's Krishna doing? Permanent holiday. Therefore, Krishna doesn't explain all these things in Bhagavad-Gita, but he says, Arjuna, what is the need of so much detailed knowledge about me? But you should know, I control the entire creation just by a piece of myself. So that piece of Krishna who's controlling everything, an expansion of Krishna, right? When a piece goes out, Krishna doesn't become less. Om Purna Purnamida Purna Purnatu Udachyate. No matter how many complete wholes come from the complete whole, the complete whole remains completely whole. That's Krishna. Guru Maharaj would say, infinity minus infinity is infinity. So millions of controllers that come from Krishna, Krishna never diminishes. And each of those expansions have the same power as he does, but he never becomes less. This is God. Means inconceivable. So who's that piece not a piece. Who's that expansion of Krishna who's controlling the entire creation? He's called the Super Soul. Super Soul. In Sanskrit they say Paramatma, Ishvara. He's controlling everything. So Ashtanga Yoga is the process of meditating on Ishvara. Right? The Super Soul. What does he look like? Size of thumb, situated in the heart of everyone. Controlling everything, witnessing everything, but not attached. You know? Sometimes we hear a voice. Don't do that. And what do we say? Shut up, I'm doing it anyway. What is that voice? Like you said, God. That is not incorrect what you said. What is the voice that guides us? Who brought you here? Super Soul. He understands we have some inner yearning. How sincere he knows. So according to sincerity, he also directing, giving some inspiration. Who giving the results? Ishvara. So know that Ishvara. One who knows that Ishvara becomes free from birth and death. Meditate on him. Think of him. How, Arjuna? First comes, you have to control yourself a bit. Right? That is the mechanical process of Ashtanga Yoga. What is it? The 4 yams, the 4 niyams. Don't do this. Don't steal. Don't go around having sex with everyone. Right? Control your sex life. Be with one woman. No problem. That is also one form of celibacy. Okay? So, don't steal. Don't lie. Don't harm others. Control yourself. You know, control your sex life. This is 4. What is it? Yam. Ahimsa, asatya, asteya, don't steal, and brahmacharya, celibacy. Are you doing yoga, are you?
Yeah.
Right, come and give the class. He knows it all. I just had a quick look on the board. But before, this is yoga, right?
Yamas.
Yam and Niyam.
Niyamas, Saucha,
Do.
Santosha, Ishvara,
Do.
Pranidhana. Yeah.
What are they? Santosh, be satisfied. Don't be greedy.
Santosha, Saucha.
Satya, be truthful. Socha, be clean. And?
Tapasya.
And Shwadhyay, study of texts, and Ishvara Pranidhana.
Ishvara Pranidhan, surrender to Ishvara, right? Paramatma, we already explained God. These are, do this, don't do this. Well, then by doing that, you come to one level. That means you'll get the human platform. Then control the senses. Control the mind. Now I feel embarrassed you're here. Pratyada, control the senses. Dharana, right? Dharana, control. Don't let the mind go here. Don't let the eyes go here. Don't let the crazy mind jumping like a monkey. Control him. So this is all these things. But the goal, then do pranayam to purify the mind, help make life a little easy. Do pranayam, control the breath. And by doing that, the mind will become fixed. Dhyan means meditation. Withdraw the senses like a turtle. Krishna speaks all these things. Turtle, when some trouble there, he withdraws all the senses at will. The yogi at will can withdraw all the senses and remain fixed on dhyan, meditation on the super soul. Not meditation on a candle or a light, or meditate on your own mind, or meditate on Sai Baba, or meditate on this, or meditate on Ishvara. No, that is Patanjali Yoga Sutra, nothing else. But unfortunately people are missing the main thing, which is meditation on the Ishvara, God, the super soul, and doing all type of illegal rubbish, cheating the persons, just for flat bums, fat tums and flat bums, something like that. I think I'm the opposite. Saggy bum and fat tum, right? That's Damana Maharaj, go in the opposite direction. Anyhow, no problem. Main thing is mind should be fixed. But unfortunately people are neglecting all these things and just chasing. They think yoga is a path to fulfill my material desires. That is not the path of yoga. So, this is also a little inconceivable. The form of the super soul, the form of the Paramatma, we cannot perceive. So for that we have to go to the scriptures. Therefore Krishna says how to meditate. On one hand the phone, going through the phone book, and the other, no. Krishna says sit on the deer skin, facing north, eyes a little half open, meditating on the tip of the nose. Why? Don't close your eyes, you'll sleep. Don't open your eyes, otherwise you'll be looking at the girls in the yoga class. Stare at the tip of the nose and absorbed in Ishvara, the super soul. No? So this is, at the end of the first 6 chapters, Krishna explains all this. So Arjuna, you should become a yogi. Through the mechanical process, meditate on the super soul. So when Arjuna heard this, Arjuna became sad. Krishna thinks my love for him is so weak that I have to do the yoga and the pranayama and the meditation. So when Krishna told Arjuna to do this, Arjuna became sad. How weak Krishna must think my love for him is. That, no? Like if I tell, who's married? Yamuna, meditate on your husband. You have to do this and breathing exercises. No need. If you have no love, then these mechanical processes will help. But one who has already attained love, then those things are not necessary. So when Krishna has told Arjuna, become a yogi, Arjuna not satisfied at all. Depressed. What Krishna thinks of me? That I am just I have to do this mechanical stuff just to remember him? Arjuna has so much love for Krishna. There's one story, one time someone came to visit Arjuna. Arjuna and Krishna were sleeping on the same bed because friends. So what an astonishing thing Narad came to see. That Krishna was sleeping holding the feet of Arjuna. Like this. And from every pore of Krishna's body was coming the sound. Arjuna, Arjuna, Arjuna. And then Arjuna was holding the feet of Krishna, and from every pore of Arjuna's body was coming the sound, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And how much love they have between each other. No? Many times, anyway, afterwards you'll hear in Bhagavad-Gita, they sleep on the same bed, they sit on the same seat, they eat off the same plate. Krishna married his own sister to Arjuna. How close they are. So when Krishna told all these things, become a yogi, nice turn above Yogi Arjuna, become a yogi, Arjuna not satisfied. He becomes sad. Krishna thinks I am that and that only. So to please him, then Arjuna says, is there nothing more than yoga? Is that it? Then Krishna smiles, no? What does he say? Yoginam apisarvesham madgadada atmana. Oh Arjuna, of all yogis, the best yogi is that yogi who always remembers me. So then comes another type of yoga. What is that? Bhakti Yoga, right? Not meditation on the controller, the super soul. Not understanding the difference between the body and the soul. Not working and offering your actions for Krishna. Because all of these three are contained in the last. No? We should have faith in this. The devotee have no need of doing these other three systems of yoga if he's practicing the fourth. Right? Just Gaugamaj gave an example. If I say to Janaki, here's 5 pounds, go and get me some sugar, a kilo of sugar. But as she's going, no Janaki, don't bring sugar, bring honey. What will you bring? Honey, because honey is the last instruction. So the last instruction of Bhagavad-Gita, Bhakti Yoga, that takes precedence over all the other three. So we should understand, one who's doing the Bhakti Yoga, automatically will get the results of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Astanga Yoga. So what is Bhakti Yoga? Simple. Serve two-handed form of Krishna, who is the source of the super soul, the source of the impersonal Brahman, who is the source of the entire creation, the source of all the individual souls, who is the source of everything. If you want to water a tree, Jenna, where do you put the water? On each flower, each twig? Where do you put the water? On the root. So who is the root of the entire creation? By serving him, the entire creation is served. Now Kunja asked, he wanted to hear about the Yuga Dharma. Of course, it's impossible to explain everything in 1 hour. No. So Jena, if you... Oh, I couldn't understand. Her also. Terrible. I'm going to stop asking people's names, actually. I used to remember, now I just forgot. So, what we were saying? Yuga Dharma. How?
I think 1 hour is difficult to explain.
Right. In 1 hour, can't explain everything. So please don't walk out of this class. That didn't make sense. Couldn't understand that. Because no one can explain in 1 hour the whole Bhagavad-Gita. Just be patient. Come again here, study, ask questions. No? Arjuna asked 16 questions. He's sitting right in front of Krishna. How many questions we will have? No. So, for that reason, Krishna says, no, Bhakti Mam Avajanati Yavan Yasmat Vatatvatat. Arjuna, I am understood only by Bhakti Yoga. Right? So what is Bhakti Yoga? If you read Bhagavad Gita, you accept Krishna as Yogeshwara, then you should accept his conclusion that Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. Bahujanmanamna, the Jnanavam Mam Prapatat. After many lives of Jnana, and when the perfect yogi is that person who comes directly to me. So Kunja also wanted to hear about Yuga Dharma. How can I come to Krishna? How can I serve him? Most importantly is don't make up and invent your own method of service. Because by that you will not achieve perfection and you will not satisfy Krishna. Imagine Grace invites us for lunch. Imagine I hate eggplant. Imagine I was allergic to eggplant. Imagine I would die if I ate eggplant. Just imagine. Some people have allergies to peanuts, right? They eat peanuts, they die. So peanuts is a better example. I'm allergic to peanuts. Imagine. I'm not, but just imagine. So Grace invites us for lunch. What she makes? Peanut halva. Peanut milkshake. Have you had that? You go to Trinidad. It's like a national drink. Water with peanut butter, peanut milkshake. Right? Tempeh made of peanuts. What else? Stir fry with peanuts.
Satay.
Huh? Salted peanuts, fried peanuts.
Satay.
Yep, satay with peanuts. What else? Peanut butter, right? Peanut bread. You've worked all day. But when I see it, I run the other way. Means I'm trying to say, I'm not saying don't invite me for lunch, I'm trying to say, If you serve, you have to know what that person wants. So we want to serve Krishna, we should know nicely what Krishna wants. Otherwise you'll do so many things which you are calling service, but actually not giving him any happiness. Right? So, for example, like suicide bombings, I always go to the extremes. Suicide bombings, animal sacrifices, right? They're doing this. This is one type of faith. God is pleased by that, right? Who's going to pull the ripcord and blow themselves up? This is one type of strong faith. But will it satisfy the Supreme Lord? No way. Because it's give pain to everyone and that person also. So, animal sacrifice, right? Especially Eid, the Muslims, so much. Cutting the goats. Goats cost a lot of money. 3,000-4,000 rupees minimum for a goat. There's a website actually. Anyway, that's another thing. Special goats. Some goats have the bad luck. They have some like Arabic writing on them. Bad luck for that goat, right? This costs a lot of money, animal sacrifice. But Krishna satisfied by that? Cannot say. We can say definitely not. So how to please Krishna? We cannot just invent our own method of serving. For that we'll have to go to the scriptures. No. So in this age, very easy process of satisfying him, right? But people are so much duplicitous in this age, so fallen, so materialistic. A simple thing they can never accept. But it says in this age, in different ages there's different methods of satisfying him. In Kritya Dato Vishnu, Tretayam Yatatomake Dwapayam Parichaujadam Kalotad Harikitanat. In Satyuga. Okay, should I explain all this? People will just get confused more. But our present age is called Kali Yuga, right? Every age was not like this one, Lena. Right? In previous ages they had huge, enormous lifespan, enormous powers of memory, enormous capacity to perform austerities. They could go hundreds and hundreds of years without eating, without even breathing. No. They had so much wealth for big, big opulent sacrifices. The priest could perfectly chant the mantra. Even they kill some animal in the sacrifice, by the mantra the animal would get a new body. No one has that power anymore. No one can memorize the Vedic mantras to perform these big... No one has the wealth. No. Even worship in the temple, who can do that? No. Do you have a job, Lena? Oh, you're retired, but I bet whole life you worked, right? Everyone have to work so hard just to get a little bit to eat and keep a roof over their head. Who has time even for worship, in the ritualistic worship in the temple? Who can follow all those rules? Few people can follow that. So in this age, Krishna nicely knows the position of everyone, right? Short lifespan, how long we live. Have you ever met anyone who's 100 years old? Akrura, right? Have you met anyone who's 100? Oh, how many people?
2, 3.
Right. I met a lady the other day, went into a house, right? 95. Never met anyone that old. Oh no, that's not true. Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj was 101, I met him. But very few people live even 100 years. Most people kick the bucket when? They pop the cork, 85.
Is the average age.
Average age. Plenty of people dying before that.
We've got one family friend back home in Nepal, she's 105 now.
105, not out. But that is rare.
Yes.
These days the food's so full of poison, no vitamins, no nutrients, so many diseases. Plenty of people dying young, plenty of people dying of cancer and all these horrible diseases. Conclusion is short lifespan. Many, many problems. Always disturbed, for no reason fight. The nature of this age. It's called the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. People have no wealth, everyone is struggling very hard with material existence. The mind is always going crazy. Everyone is absorbed in sinful activity. Do you know one person, Len, who doesn't drink, who doesn't eat meat, who doesn't fornicate, and who doesn't gamble?
She knows me. I don't do any of those things.
Well, there you go. The one and only friend. Sometimes I say Krishna comes to kill the demons, but he killed all the demons, there'd be no one left. Because in this age everyone is doing demonic activity, chicken eating. This is all horrible, horrible activity. How cruel, how selfish. Just for a little taste on the tongue there. The factory farming, all the destroying the environment. This age is like that. Don't be surprised. This age has just begun. Imagine it. 100 years ago, how was England? 100 years ago. Everyone going to church, right? Public alcoholism, no one doing. Maybe rare person. Theft punishable by death or exporting to Australia. Right? A fate worse than death. I tell the Indians, the cream rises to the top, so the cream of society went to Australia. But it's not like that, actually. So even 100 years, how degraded England has become. There was no abortion 100 years ago, no divorce, very rare. But now look, this is the nature of this age. It's just begun, Lena. This age has just begun. Imagine what they'll be doing in 50 years, what they'll do in 100 years. So this age is considered the most degraded age, the most wretched age. But Kale dosa nidarajan eka hi ekad mahadguna. This age is an ocean of fault. But it has one amazing quality. Kirtana deva krishnasya. And this quality is so great, even those in the celestial planets pray to Krishna. Give me a human form in this age. Why? Just by chanting Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangam parambrajadat. Just by the very simple process of, kirtan? Kirtan. You said you like the chanting.
Yes.
Chanting is called kirtan. You can get a tattoo. Kirtan. Kirtan. So easy process, right? Everyone can do who has a tongue, who has a set of lips. Even who has no tongue and lips can hear. Right? When we went to China, all the Chinese, good up. Chinese are great. If they become devotees, they're like gold. A little hard to make, but once they make, they never give up. They have qualities, no? Good up. But their pronunciation is terrible. Adi Lama, Lama, Adi, full enthusiasm. But who is Lama, who is Krishna, who is Koyav or Rani? Nobody knows. But Krishna knows, actually. Krishna knows. I said, even mistake is there in pronunciation of the name, no problem. Krishna understands nicely. Anyway, I hope no Chinese watching. There's one lady who translates. Don't translate all. No, all Chinese will laugh. They'll laugh more than anyone. So it's so easy process in this age. Just chant Krishna. Oh, the Chinese person, right? Old lady. Gurudev, bless my mother. Gurudev said, tell her to chant Hare Krishna. Gurudev, she cannot speak. Say in her ear, Gurudev, she cannot hear. Gurudev was laughing. What can you do? Give her prasad. Do we bring the prasad? Where is it? Okay, don't worry. I made a mistake. We brought some foodstuffs, but I can't give today anyway. It's a courtesy. Okay, take it. Not to distribute my pistachios. So, this age has an ocean of faults, but it has one amazing quality. Just by chanting these two syllables, Krishna, Mukta Sangam. Two meanings of Mukta Sangha. Mukta Sangha means can easily become free from all imperfections, all inebrities, all obstacles. Mukta Sangha. Easily one becomes free from all obstacles just by chanting Krishna's name. Or Mukta Sangha. If you chant Krishna's name, you can get the association of the liberated souls, the Mukta Sangha. Just by chanting Krishna's name, you can get the association of the perfect devotees of Krishna. Either way, both meanings are there. Mukta Sangam, Parambrajet, and one can achieve the supreme destination just by the easy process of chanting his names. Hare Krishna. So easy. Who cannot say Hare Krishna? Say Hare Krishna, Lena? A fool can chant. A bum can chant. Someone who has no wealth. A fat slob can chant. A fat slob cannot do yoga. A bum, impoverished person cannot. Homeless, thank you. A poverty-stricken person cannot give charity. An unhealthy person cannot do yoga. What else? An uneducated person cannot study the scriptures. No. An alcoholic, a drug addict cannot do meditation. But all of them can chant the holy names. So this holy name, so kind, so easy process. But still people cannot do. That is their great misfortune. Right, Grace?
Yes.
Chant, chant, chant. What do they say? Can't. Chant Krishna's name. They'll never do it. But talk rubbish 24 hours a day. They easily can do that. Chant everything except, they can chant everything except the name of Krishna. That is the great misfortune of persons. No? Therefore this Bhakti Yoga, even though it's the highest, it's also strangely enough, it's the easiest to perform. Doesn't mean to achieve perfection that will be the easiest. But the process is the easiest, no? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So sweet process, right? Lena, even you don't understand the language, don't understand anything, such a happiness, such sweetness comes by chanting. No, says those who are most intelligent in this age, they worship Krishna by the simple process of chanting his name. No? So you can do a little. So we may have many millions of questions. So do you have any questions, Lena? So don't just chant anything that will not get the result. Buddhists don't even believe in the soul. Buddhists don't believe in God. So their mantras, where will they take you? They cannot take you there. No? So, like I said, if you want to serve Krishna, you have to go to the proper. Krishna will tell you what pleases him, and scriptures reveal that. So it's a little difficult because it's your first class, but try and have full faith in the scriptures. Why? Because many, many people in the past have taken the same medicine. No? We get an aspirin. How do I know it works? Because many people in the past have taken the same medicine. So this name of Krishna, many people have crossed the ocean of birth and death on the boat of the holy names. Okay, so easy, so sweet, so joyfully performed. So, and one easily gets the results of the other three yogas just by chanting these names. So Krishna says, Satata Kita Yantomam, always chant my names. Always think of me. And by chanting his name, you'll think of Krishna, which is the automatic result of Astanga Yoga and everything else. Anyway, any questions, Akura Prabhu?
I was meditating on the verse, Krishna Varna Tvisha Krishna.
Krishna Varna Matvisa Krishna Sangha Upangasta Yagne Santidana Priya Yajantihi Sumedasa. Those who are most intelligent, they worship Krishna by the chanting of these two syllables, Krishna. Other meanings are there, but that's a straightforward meaning of this verse. Thank you. Before you go, please take little Bhagavad-Gita. Start to read. If you like, you can come to India. India just opened its borders on the November 15th. You're welcome. Come for a month, come for 6 months, come for your whole life. Hare Krishna. No, don't say it. Just say I'm coming. I've got to. Don't worry.
It's the studio. It's not getting there.
Nice. This is a good way to earn your living. It's not a bad. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Go Premanande, Ekadasi Titi ki jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Thank you again, Grace.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. We'll give the link to your daughter, she can watch it.
I'd like to get her on the FaceTime now.
Take care.
So you're not staying? No, you're leaving it now, England.
Monday. Why? When are you coming to India?